cut globally stand somewhere between 52,000 and 80,000. These are not small companies, mind you. These are not difficult times either. These are some of the most profitable corporations, some of the most profitable names on the planet, cutting their most experienced people at the peaks of their own earnings. So the question tonight is not whether artificial intelligence is disrupting work. That debate is over. The question is how far up the ladder is it now climbing? The old idea that senior roles are safe is eroding, it's breaking down. Companies say they're doing this to become more efficient as they invest heavily in artificial intelligence, and the impact is clear even at the bottom of the ladder. Entry-level tech jobs postings in the United States have dropped by around 35% since 2023. AI tools now handle basic coding, testing and data work that freshers used to do. In India, the picture is similar for the big IT companies. Firms like TCS and Wipro are targeting mid and senior roles for cuts, talking openly about AI-driven efficiencies, and fresher hiring has fallen sharply. We'll showcase those numbers as well. Campus intakes, they're down, and some companies have cut their plans for new graduates by half or more. Utilization and the targets, they're quite high, and benches are shrinking because the same project now needs fewer people to complete. And this is putting real pressure on the traditional Indian IT model. Coding, testing, and support work is becoming 20 to 45% faster with artificial intelligence. Projects are moving to fixed price deals instead of time-based billing. Experts warn that 4 lakh to 5 lakh IT roles could be at risk in the next 2 to 3 years. Companies are not hiring as many new people. Instead, they're focusing on reskilling their existing staff in artificial intelligence, in machine learning, in cloud computing technologies. And the shift is towards smaller teams where one senior person supported by AI can do the work of many juniors. Even the first steps of recruitment, screening, and initial interviews are now often handled by artificial intelligence tools themselves. In India, the backbone of the global IT model is under unprecedented pressure. Coding and support tasks are being completed up to 45% faster. The old model of billing clients for hours worked is dying, replaced by fixed price deals led by artificial intelligence. Experts are now warning that nearly 500,000 Indian IT roles could be at risk in the next 3 years alone. And we're witnessing a hiring reset as well. Campus recruitments, they're drying up fast, and the focus has shifted entirely towards reskilling the few who are going to remain. And the message from the boardrooms is clear as well. Experience alone is no longer a shield. If your value was managing workflows or drafting reports, AI can now do that better. It can do it faster and it can do it cheaper. So what does this restructuring essentially look like? The big question that we're trying to understand, and esteemed set of panelists with us on the broadcast, when a single senior with AI can do the work of 10 juniors, let's say, does the human element of management become obsolete, or does it become more valuable? Can the Indian offshore model survive the shift from manpower-heavy billing to AI-led fixed-price contracts? And as companies flatten their structures and rely more on artificial intelligence, what support should governments and industry offer to workers who need to reskill or change their careers? Vikas Sharma, CEO, Sparksit, with us on the broadcast. Dr. Kiranpreet Kaur, Human Resources Expert and Advisor, the Human Capital, with us on the broadcast. Febin John James, Founder, AI Both, with us on the broadcast as well. You know, Mr. Sharma, let's get the snowball rolling here. First and foremost, is this the end of traditional IT pyramid model? Of course, old will have to give way to new. That's inevitable. But where thousands of juniors are supported just by few seniors, is that the new model that we're looking at? Are companies genuinely becoming more efficient, or are they overestimating artificial intelligence current capabilities? What do you make of all these jobs that have been lost in just a single month?
Yes, you're right. And largely you have covered almost all the points. And how do I see this or where I see this going is the traditional pyramid is not going to work anymore. Okay. So one person is capable of doing a lot of job using all these AI tools. And so the IT companies or any kind of companies, they have to adopt the new normal which is use of these AI technologies. Uh, Example, in BPO, if there have been a company who have been providing inbound and outbound processes, the new normal is that there is a tool who can offer all these services using AI. So the people who are taking those services, they are now looking for those cheaper options. So the company have to evolve into either providing those kind of evolved services, because the new companies, new businesses, they are not looking for all those traditional kind of human resources who will take the call on and who will answer all those queries of
Right.
the people. Yeah.
Yeah, but um, correct me if I'm wrong here. This doesn't seem like a slowdown story. This seems to be like a reset story. But the Indian model, the Indian pyramid is very people oriented. We've been talking about how we need to reskill our workforces, not just here back at home, but across the world. Big tech, they love to hire Indians. But here back at home, we're a people-centric model. And when we're looking at slashing down jobs to then put that money into AI efficiency, do we have the wherewithal to reskill our people and at that scale? For any new structure to grow, you'd want scale. And with these kind of jobs that are now going, what does it mean essentially for the Indian pyramid, the Indian model, the Indian people-centric model?
Okay, so yes, and that's a very, very good question right now at this point of time, because how I see it, the people who do not know AI or who are not skilling themselves to know AI, the use of these tools, they are going to lose their job definitely. But the people who know how to handle these tools, how to integrate these tools, or how to use these tools, the demand is going to surge a lot. And if you look at online, there are a lot of companies who have now started hiring white coders, or the developers or the engineers who know this skill set. The people are not looking for people who have been coding manually nowadays. They want people who can prompt engineer, who can ask AI to code in speed, who know the solution architecting, who know the solutioning. So the thing is that the job would surge in these directions, where companies are looking for integrators, implementers, or who can customize the available AI solutions. Okay, so this new stream would come into the market. A lot of new businesses are evolving who are just vibe agency, just like vibe coders. So you can hire those agency and they will do the job using the vibe coding and all. So
Yeah.
these kind of domains are new, coming up in the market. But yes, traditional method of developing things or building things would go, and those people now need to reskill themselves to adopt in the new market. That is the only way
You're a
to go forward.
CEO of a tech firm. We also have with us Febin John James, who's the founder of AI Both. I'm going to come with my question to you next. Try to understand, when you're looking to hire somebody, are you not now going to be going to campuses? And if you're looking for the top 5 people to join your firm, what are the kind of skills that you'd want them? But before that, let me go across to the human resources expert with us on the broadcast. Dr. Kaur, it seems like loyalty has sort of eroded completely. Even 20 to 30-year veterans, they're being laid off. So loyalty has lost its value in the artificial intelligence economy. Am I right or wrong here? Let's get the ball rolling.
Kabir, honestly, it's tough to answer this, but factually correct as well, because a lot of job hopping, it's happening from both the sides. Companies are also looking at restructuring to do more, optimization of the roles. They're creating efficiency. At the same time, employees are also looking forward to get better salaries, hop jobs to get better ranks in a much faster pace than how it used to be earlier. The biggest driver, of course, for these shifts are the artificial intelligence and automation, because structural change forces people to take these hard decisions, even the employer and the employees both. But what's at risk is that certain roles which are repetitive, rule-based, and execution-heavy, they're most affected, they're most vulnerable at the moment. And even the mid-level roles, without any clear differentiation, will fall under pressure. And then we'll see a lot of these hard decisions taken by companies where they want to invest more on the AI and less on people reskilling and absorbing them.
But these current reports, they suggest, Dr. Kaur, that, some of those senior colleagues, some of those, high cost employees, they're facing the axe essentially under the garb of, AI restructuring. Whether that's going to happen or not, I mean, it's too soon to say. But companies are actively targeting the seniors, the bosses. They're the ones. I mean, earlier, the idea was that, those at the bottom of this pyramid, those at the bottom of this tech food chain were going to be vulnerable. They're going to succumb to the AI restructuring. But it seems like the bosses are going to be feeling the heat as well.
So I feel irrespective of the level, anybody who is hesitant to adopt technology, who is not comfortable with a collaborative approach where AI with digital fluency, can work together with the basics of data thinking, problem solving, communication, and visibility, is going to get affected, irrespective of the level of job in the hierarchy they fall into. So I think more than repositioning, it's about stabilizing first, understanding that this is a career reset opportunity for a lot of people. Right now, uncertainty is creating more fear than the reskilling part. Not everybody is equally at risk, but because they're not prepared, they feel powerless. And at this moment, I think to stay updated in terms of visibility, skills, it is important to build your network, because degrees, even on the campus front, they're not helping much now, because instead of volume hiring, we're shifting towards selective hiring. So proof of skill is only possible through network. That's the new currency we're looking at. So practical exposure, adaptability towards AI is something that all employers are looking forward heavily, because they will be investing a lot on these fronts to have an edge in the industry.
No, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, I'm going to come to you next time around and try to really understand, if I was a professional with 30 to 40-year age bracket, what was the best way of, proofing myself, future-proofing myself rather, in this AI restructuring era. But, Fabian John James, let me come to you next. Is AI truly capable of replacing the senior level decision-making roles? I mean, you're the founder of AI Board. Give us a perspective of, a founder. Is this premature panic, or is there something that really the bosses and the senior level, the higher cost employees now need to take a look at?
Pattern where most senior employees in most of the companies like Meta has been laid off. So it's a pattern that fits. So basically, I mean, the most logical sense is that it's the highest way of making sure that you can direct that money elsewhere, because these are like high costly roles for the company's perspective. Now, coming to the firing part, the first primary reason is that with senior employees, the push to adopt a new technology is very hard for companies to push through when compared with the junior employees. So people who don't adopt, as the other person said, it's very very much possible for people to not to adopt it, and those are the first kind of people who can get fired. The second kind of people, senior people, is those who don't have hands-on level experience, because they have been not in touch with the core technology for a long period of time, and they are just people managing, and those kind of roles where they have forgotten the hand, being very hands-on, right? Yeah, and that's the key word here. So these are the folks who are likely to get fired most. Yeah.
No, I agree. There's a different premium when you talk about those who have on-hands experience. But are we underestimating the speed at which AI is evolving? I mean, it could be a news anchor tomorrow, a robot that's going to be carrying out with this debate. That could very well be a reality, especially in areas like coding, in cybersecurity. I do want to talk about Anthropic here as well. But before that, are we really underestimating the speed at which AI is evolving? Those that are quite handy with the tech at the moment, they seem to believe, not so soon, but I think it's more faster than we believe.
Yeah, I think we are, at least at the job level where people are working, they are at least in that sense where, they are like easygoing, that we are underestimating in terms of like, how the technology is going, and people are, to be honest, I'm even surprised that every day I get surprises, it's having you said about the Anthropic model as well. But coming back towards the thing, the companies, the heads are panicking, but the employees are, being a bit of feedback. But I think these layoffs will set a trend for people to come back and, get hands-on and get better at things.
All right. Okay. You know what, Mr. Sharma, let me come back to you again. Again, from a CEO's perspective, India's IT sector, it thrives on scale. Can that model really survive when artificial intelligence itself, the entire restructuring, is reducing the need for scale in the first place? We don't need it anymore. If you yourself can do the job of 10 people, why would you want to hire, another 10 employees?
So basically, how I see it, in fact, in my company, it is
Yeah.
not that we have stopped hiring or we have stopped or we have started hiring less people. It's not like that at all. But it's a new kind of people with some new skill set or special skill set.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I mean, Dr. Kaur gave us a sense of, what this new skill set is going to look like. But what, from your perspective, help the viewers understand, so many people that are going to be watching this broadcast right now and seriously thinking about, they must be from the tech industry. What are these specific skill sets that you're looking at? It looks like a Liam Neeson dialogue from some action movie, but what are these special skill sets that you're looking for?
All right. So before, in fact, in 2025, if you are hiring for any role, be it HR or be it your admin or operations, or maybe the engineer, the one thing that we have been looking in them is so let's say if we are hiring for Java developer, then what we were looking for, what is the experience in Java and how do they know the core skills like Spring Boot and all. But when we are hiring now in 2026, especially in this year, since January, we have seen, or the whole world have seen, a lot of advancement in the AI, especially with the Anthropic's, all the models that they have come up with, and all the advancements also the OpenAI has bring into the whole ecosystem. So the adoption has increased a lot, and now people know, or every company know, that we have to bring in a lot of automations in our the ecosystem, the environment, or the infrastructure. So when we are hiring even the HR, or in fact in all our the people we know, the CEO groups and clubs, what we all talking about is that if we are looking for a resource that have to be handy or skilled or know at least a bit of AI, that how it works and how the automations can be done in their job. So for an example, if there is an HR, they have to deal with a lot of the spreadsheets and all those data and reports. They should know what are the AI tools available there in the market, and they should be able to use those. Plus, they should know some sort of automations that they can do using the OpenAI enterprise or the Anthropic enterprise. So generally, all these big companies, they have these enterprise already adopted in their organization. Now they want their people to use that enterprise resource and do some sort of automations. So all those repetitive jobs that they have been doing, they should know how to do all those automations. So when we are hiring now, we are not looking for people at all who are not exposed to AI, like whom we are bringing and then we are training them on that. What we are looking for, that they should know all these AI things, how does it work, how these automation, like small automation.
And what is the standard of the market like, Mr. Sharma? Are you able to find these kind of people, or do you have to then bring them in, train them again? Because that's the actual modus operandi for all the firms across all sectors at the moment, but that might be changing. Do you feel that there is still a need for the same, or you're very easily able to handpick some new recruits that you don't necessarily need to train in? Today, ChatGPT is being used for pretty much everything, from cooking recipes to even making a bomb back at home. That's what ChatGPT is being used for. But, help us understand, are you facing difficulties on that front, or it's easy sale for you?
No, it is not at all easy sale. So this is definitely challenging because I still believe, and as in panel also we discussed, this is still a very difficult, very challenging to see and shocking that people are not upgrading themselves despite all these advancements in the industry.
Okay.
But there are people who now understand the need of it, and they are doing sort of courses available with Anthropic or the OpenAI, and there are some other, the free solutions or courses available. So they are grilling and reskilling themselves on those, and that is what, through this episode, I would definitely want everybody to request that go online, go to LinkedIn and all those Anthropic and all those websites, there are a lot of free courses available. Go and learn those automations.
Upskill yourselves. Upskill yourselves. That's the need of the hour. Dr. Kiranpreet Kaur, would you agree? And I earlier asked you, how should professionals in their 30s and their 40s future-proof themselves in the advent of this new environment of AI restructuring? Of course, upskilling is one way to go. The AI is not going to be taking your job. The person using the artificial intelligence seems to be like the right person to be taking your job. Is hiring becoming less about experience now? That's how I began the show. It's less about experience. It's more about adaptability to these AI tools and about the future proofing for those in their 30s and 40s.
You said it very well, Kabir. In fact, that's the bigger issue that the organizations, face, that they are adapting faster than the workforce themselves, and therefore the loyalty that used to mean the time spent or overall experience in an organization is now shifted to the total value created in the organization and how quickly were you able to adapt. I have a beautiful theory around metamorphic intelligence, which I would recommend people to go through. Because now being loyal is not just a skill, it's a role. You have to keep evolving, you have to stay aligned with the business needs, and mutual loyalty is the mindset. Organization wants people who want to continuously learn, who want to maintain network, who are ready to change, rather than just proving a point that we've spent 30 years and now where do we go? Because you can be committed to your company but still be prepared for change. And for many people it feels like a betrayal when hard decisions are taken, because they feel that those are personal, but they're rather structural, and without adaptability the vulnerability will always exist. So I think it's important that people understand that artificial intelligence is unprecedented, and the adoption becomes even more necessary. Look at what is happening in tech. It's a testing ground. Whatever happens here, it's going to spread in all other industries as well. All the roles which are predictable, they will likely get automated. So I think
when all the experts, doctor, when all the experts are talking about 4 to 5 lakh jobs that are going to go away, simply vanish into thin air in the next 2 to 3 years, how realistic and pragmatic are these numbers really? Because like you suggested, whatever happens in the tech industry, people are going to be following that.
I think that gives us a lesson that we need to have AI adoption at the earliest possible. The organization needs to take upskilling very, very seriously. They need to understand that they need to have strategic hiring. They need not hire people when they're not ready for it. And if they want to intensively spend on the AI front, then they need to upskill their existing workforce so that they can absorb the people who are already working with them, who are smart enough to adopt technology, learn and unlearn, old things. I think that's the key need of the hour, and it's natural to feel that the pace is overwhelming, but this shift is creating more roles also, and it's time that with this accelerated change, people and organization also start meeting together at a center point.
Febin, you earlier spoke about Claude, you spoke about Mythos, you spoke about how it comes as a surprise and a shock every other day. Models like Anthropic's Mythos, they can now exploit vulnerabilities. It can find software vulnerabilities, it can exploit systems, it can automate cyber attacks. So we're not simply talking about artificial intelligence, we're talking about the ability for an AI to replicate or simulate a cyber warfare sort of a scenario as well. Are we entering an AI-driven cyber arms race simultaneously? And then again, the entire sovereignty issue comes into play, because who really has their LLMs on public display? I think these days people are more willing to tell you how an F-35 is being built, but they won't really showcase and tell you what they're doing with their own LLMs back at home.
Yeah, so I totally agree that we are entering a cyber arm war race, and a lot of state-enabled actors like North Korea, China are at least in the leading front there. But coming back to the AI part of it, I think we are very close to. I think as a country we are still weak in those areas.
Yeah.
But concluding by just saying one more thing is that. Where cybersecurity or where the cyber thing is, where Anthropic are being successful is the traditional security, which is the traditional systems and all that kind of stuff. But where it's still lacking, or where people can still contribute a lot, is where the AI warfare itself is the vulnerability, where LLM can be vulnerable in itself. So those are areas where even people can explore a lot more.
And do we have global regulatory framework? Do you see it happening in the coming years? Because it's certainly not ready right now for AI that can both build and can break systems. I mean, if this can simulate a cyber warfare, it can also go and attack somebody else. So do we have a regulatory system set up? Do you have any knowledge about it? Could you throw some light on it, Febin?
Well, if you see about the data regulatory itself, I think you know how the state of what that is in India or in Europe, which has done something there. But if the state of data regulatory system is in this state, AI is still in the very nascent state, and it is still not there yet. But having said that, at this time, if regulatory system kicks in, it will disrupt. It will keep problems in the innovation sector. People, people in countries like India, I think that regulatory should be balanced with how innovation can succeed and not harm innovators as such. So while regulatory factor is important, it shouldn't come at the cost of innovation.
Well, so the AI arms race is on. The alarm bells are certainly ringing. You do need to go out there and upskill yourselves. Otherwise, the person using the artificial intelligence, using it better than you are, will certainly be taking your jobs. 4 to 5 lakh jobs that are going to go away in the next 2 to 3 years. Those are bigger and, really huge numbers just to look at it, and it could really affect the stock markets in the days to come as well. So the question is no longer whether AI will take jobs. It certainly is going to take jobs. The question is about who's going to be taking those jobs, which jobs will survive, and for how long. On that note, Mr. Sharma, Mr. Febin, and Dr. Kaur, always a pleasure to have you with us on News 9. We're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here. On the other side, let's discuss that. Why is India the epicenter of these heat waves, and what is this super El Nino effect? Let's break that down for all our viewers. Don't go anywhere.
कहीं एक नई रोड ने साइंस को शहर से गांव तक पहुंचाया, ताकि पूर्णी चांद तक पहुंचने का सपना देख पाए। देश के नंबर 1 सीमेंट अल्ट्राटेक में हम मानते हैं, बनेगा तो बढ़ेगा इंडिया।
Water overflowing, what could it be?
After a blockbuster first season, where corporate giants and industry leaders ruled the court, TV9 Network presents the ultimate corporate badminton championship Season 2. A battle of skill, speed and supremacy, with a massive 5 lakh rupee prize pool across categories. At Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Gachibowli, Hyderabad, from the 15th to the 17th May 2026. The court is set. Let the battles begin. Catch the action only on TV9 Network. To register, log on to www.tv9x.com.
Associate sponsor, KL deemed to be university. Special partners, Campa Sure, Shukar hai, Sure hai. Venue partner, Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
Others see a teenage tantrum. I see you standing your ground.